On to our next presenter. Thoughtful, brilliant, prodigy, and driven. What more could you ask for? This is what Dr. McCalla had to say about our next student speaker, NTEL finalist, Jessica Wong. I've had the pleasure of teaching and learning from Jessica during her time at Jericho, and I can say that she carries herself in the most modest way. She is the intellectual version of speaking softly while carrying a big stick. She listens carefully, and she seems to always be looking to learn something new, which makes me reflect on what I'm saying to make sure I say something smart. In speaking with Jessica, she had this to say: science research helped her discover that the more deeply she researched a topic, the more curious she became in her area of interest. Jessica went on to say that the nature of progression of interest leads to the following conclusion: that the experience of learning leads to the understanding there is too much to know and not enough time. What can you say about a statement like that? I know that a good researcher needs to be methodical, and hence patient. But how does a researcher do this while realizing there's not enough time to do all the things and learn all the things that you want to know? Jessica's research is a particularly beautiful application of what's known as adjacency matrices, a topic which I learned about in college that I found particularly interesting. And it was definitely a piece of research that piqued my interest. Her research used mathematical representations of connections between different areas of the brain to gain a better understanding of what it means to be intelligent. In other words, she was so studying the connectedness of the brain. She'd have to tell you a lot more about that. Jessica embodies the ideal qualities as we as teachers want in our students, and what we people want in a leader that will improve the world she's a part of. Attending Harvard in the fall is my great pleasure to introduce Jessica Wong.
To introduce Dr. Robert Pappalardo, I'd like to start by saying that I'm nearing the end of my senior year. I'm faced with a bunch of questions about my future. What do I want to do in my lifetime? What do I want to pursue? What do I want to prioritize to be successful and to be happy? And it's by reading about people like Dr. Robert Pappalardo who help me resolve these questions. See, I find that some of the most accomplished people I've ever met often have these quirky hobbies that always pleasantly surprise me. Dr. Robert Pappalardo in high school was a rare beer can collector. When I was reading through his inductee response form, he was asked to list his top 6 accomplishments, and he mentioned a couple things. He mentioned his marriage. He mentioned how he made banners for the New York Mets. And he mentioned how he's a NASA scientist leading a mission of 125 people to explore one of Jupiter's moons. So this list of accomplishments is a paradox. In some sense, Dr. Pappalardo is in the stars. He's leading this massive mission of scientific discovery. And in another sense, he's down to earth. If you get a chance to talk to him, he's pretty humorous, and he seems to have this really resonating enjoyment for what he's doing and how he's living. And it reminds me that by pursuing pursuing happiness in whatever form it takes, whether it be quirky hobbies or scientific discovery, happiness can pave this path for a truly incredible life. In this case, incredible and successful might just be an understatement for Dr. Robert Pappalardo. See, his scientific work, according to Google Scholar, he's published over 100 scientific articles. And he's received 6,000 citations for these articles. This means that 6,000 people have not only read his work, but have been so touched by his work that they've included his work in their own. And to balance out this scientific discovery, Dr. Pappalardo has spoken to so many people and embraced so much humanity. See, any occupation of people, you name it, elementary school kids, government representatives, Army officials, tourists, astronomy enthusiasts, Jericho Public Library attendees. He's probably talked to one of them. He not only discovers science, but he shares his discoveries with other people. So I'm nearing the end of my senior year, and I'm facing a bunch of questions about my future that I don't know the answer to, but I do know that Dr. Robert Papalardo has inspired me, and it is my honor to introduce the teacher, the NASA scientist, the beer can collector, Dr. Robert Papalardo.
On behalf of the Jericho School District and in recognition of your many accomplishments, we hereby induct you into the Jericho High School Hall of Fame.
Wow, thank you so much. Yes, it's wonderful.